Hi there, sixth graders. It's Miss Ferrati. Welcome to your next lesson. This is for Wednesday, May 6th. And our lesson today is from 7.3.1. We're going to be talking about inverse operations. And if you remember, inverse means like the opposite of. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. To start, I'm super excited. We're going to start with a magic number trick. This is something that you can do with siblings at home or parents, whoever. It's just a lot of fun, and there's actually a great mathematical explanation behind the whole thing. So we're going to do 7-79 really quick. I want you to pause the video if needed, but we're going to go through these steps. So first step, you need something to write with and something to write on, and we're going to go from there. I'm sure that you might have done these kinds of problems before, but just in case, here we go. So I want you to pick a number and write it down. It can be any number, but I suggest one that is 10 or less, just to make the math a little bit easier. So I'm going to write down a number as well. So pick a number. And once you have that number written down, add 5 to it. Then double the result, so that means multiply it by 2. I'm doing this along with you. Then subtract 4. And divide by 2. And then subtract your original number. And I'm guessing that you got 3. How do I know? Because 1, I've taught this lesson a few times, and 2, because there's math behind this. So we can actually reverse engineer this problem using inverse operations to figure out what the answer is going to be no matter what number your person starts with. So we're going to look at 7-81. If you want to open up the resource page, I'm going to do the same thing so that you can write in as we go. I will let you do that. I am going to open that up on my iPad here. And what I'm going to do is take a screenshot and then write on it. Okay. I'm going to make my camera a little smaller here. All right. So when we're doing this, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pick a number. We're going to follow the steps, but we're going to also be looking at an algebra tile picture of it as well. I don't know if we'll do all 3 trials, but we'll at least do 1 or 2. Okay. So pick a number. So let's say, for my number, for the first problem that we did, I picked 4. So I'm going to write 4 in here. If I add 2 to it, that would be 6. Multiply by 3, that would be 18. Subtract 3, that would give me 15. Divide by 3 would be 5. And then subtract the original number, so I would get an answer of 1. Ooh, I changed that to blue for no reason. Okay, so let's try trial 2. Again, this could be you asking a different person, and we're going to see what result they get. Okay, so pick a number. So I'm going to say 7 this time. Add 2, so that's 9. Multiply by 3 is 27. Subtract 3, 24. Divide by 3 is 8. And subtract the original number, and again, I get 1. Okay, so it's looking like no matter what, we're going to get 1 as our answer for here, but let's just try trial 3 just for the fun of it. Okay, so I'm going to try 12. Okay, and add 2. Multiply by 3. Oh my gosh, I have to do this on the side. So 12, so that would be 42. Subtract 3, that would be 39. Divide by 3 would be 13. And then subtract my original number, 12. 13 minus 12 is 1. Okay, so no matter what, we're getting an answer of 1. You can try your own numbers if you like as well. But let's take a look at the algebra tile picture of this. So when you're drawing the algebra tiles, you want to show the steps that are happening with the tiles. So when we say pick a number, something that can represent any number that anyone picks would be a variable in this case because it's constantly changing no matter what. So when I pick a number, I'm going to represent that with the tile X. Okay, and from there, we can use unit tiles to represent everything that we're changing about X. So if I add 2 to that, then that would be X plus 2 units. And if I multiply that whole thing by 3, then I would have 3x tiles and 3 groups of the 2 unit tiles. So now I have 3x plus 6. And I'm just going to write these on the side here. Okay, so in this case, when we say pick a number, we're saying that any number can be represented by x. Okay, if I subtract 3, then that would be taking away 3 of these units. So I would be left with 3x tiles. They don't give you very much room. And 3 unit tiles. So I would have 3x plus 3. And then if I divide by 3, then that would be getting rid of or grouping together 1x with 1 unit, because that would be separating it into 3 different groups. So dividing by 3, then I would have 1x and 1 unit in each group. And then if I subtract the original number, that would then be getting rid of the x tile, because remember our original number was x. So if I get rid of that, then I'm left with 1. Okay, so that way you can kind of see how it's starting to look algebraically and how we can almost predict what the outcome is going to be. So let's take a look at our next problem. So now we're going to reverse our thinking to figure out a new magic trick. And we're going to look at the tiles this time and then be able to write out the steps to figure out what number we're going to get as our result. Okay, so let me take a screenshot of this next one. Okay, so we're looking at problem 7-82. All right, so pick a number, that's x. So the next step looks like we're adding 4. And then it's doubling our amount here. So that would be multiply by 2. Or we could say double it. Then it looks like we subtract 2 because they took away 2 units. And then because they went from 2 groups of x plus 3 to 1 group of x plus 3, it looks like they divide by 2. And then they took away those 3 units at the end, so subtract 3. Okay, so let's see if we can figure this out and get the same answer. So let's say we pick a number like 5. Add 4 to that, that would be 9. Multiply by 2 would be 18. Subtract 2 would be 16. Divide by 2 would be 8. And subtract 3 would be 5. So it looks like we end up with our original number, which is what happened here as well. We started with X and went back to X. So if you were giving this trick to someone in your household, you would say pick a number, go through the steps, and then at the end you should say, now you should have your original number back. So that's what's happening in this trick. Just to double check, let's try a number like 7. Add 4 would be 11. Multiply by 2, subtract 2, divide by 2, subtract 3, and we get our original number back. Okay, so again, seeing this time how you go from the algebra tile version to the steps. And when we do the different trials, we can see that we get our original number back. Okay, so last one, 7-84. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to look at that one. Hold on. I want to go to 83. Okay, so in the previous math magic tricks, did you notice how multiplication by a number was later followed by division by the same number? So these are called inverse operations. They're ones that undo each other. So when we were going through our steps, if it said multiply by 2, and then later it said divide by 2, that's an inverse operation. So what is the inverse operation for addition? Let me fill this out with you. So the inverse operation for addition would be subtraction. The inverse operation for multiplication would be division. The inverse operation for divide by 2 would be multiply by 2. And the inverse operation for subtract 9 would be add 9. So what happens is when you are making your steps for a trick, if you say add 3 to your number, then later on down the road, you want to say subtract 3 so that you're canceling out what they did to that number. So that's basically an introduction to inverse operations. So for your homework, you're going to complete number 87. Okay, and what you're going to do for your homework is you can take a screenshot of this and fill it out, or you can draw the table on your picture or on your notebook. But what you're going to be doing is looking at the algebra tiles, filling out the steps, and then trying it out with 3 different trials. So just try to figure out the steps as best as you can. You can use your own numbers in the trials. You can try out fractions. You can try out decimals if you want. You can try out 0. And then the fun part would be if you would share this with a family member, so you can try to do some math magic number tricks on them. So that's your lesson for today, looking at inverse operations, looking at the opposites, how you can use them to predict an outcome. And I hope this was a fun lesson for you guys, and let me know if you have any questions. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.